Okay, today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions. So you have this paper and you're going to fold it in half, hamburger style. Should look like this. Then just like with yesterday's lesson, we cut on the dotted line until we get to the fold. So it creates a little book. And then on the blank side, we're going to put glue in our corners. If we can get it. Okay, just dot, dot, not a lot. My glue is giving me some issues. There we go. Dot, dot, not a lot in all of our corners. And we're going to put this down on page 19 in our notebooks. So I'm going to make sure that at the bottom, this is page 19. And at the top, our label is multiplying fractions. All right. So I'm going to open up my book just because we have a lot of writing to do. Actually, I'm going to close it. Okay. So it starts out with a rule. The rule for multiplying fractions, which I know a lot of us are coming from elementary school, and that's where you really practice adding and subtracting fractions. And in 6th grade, we only practice multiplying and dividing fractions. So the rule for multiplying fractions is you do not need a common denominator. You do not need a common denominator. So when you have two fractions, your steps are, the first one is to check the diagonals. Our second step is to multiply the numerators. Third step is to multiply the denominators. And the last step is to simplify if needed. Usually, if you've done step 1 correctly, you won't have to do step 4. That's not all the time, but most of the time. So an example would be, we had 5/8 times 2/3. So we want to check our diagonals. What does that mean? That means look here at 5 and 3. Do they have any number in common? Do they have a common factor? No. Both 5 and 3 are both prime numbers, so there's nothing in common. If we check this diagonal, 2 and 8, we see that they do have a common factor. They are both divisible by 2. So if I took 2 and divided it by 2, and 8 and divided it by 2, then that would eliminate our 2 and our 8, making it 1 and 4. Okay. Now for some of us, we will get that step and we will be able to fly with it. For some of us, that step does not work out. We just don't get it, and that's okay too. If you are a person that just doesn't get that step, then you will be okay because you will just simplify at the very end. You will rely more on step number 4 than step number 1. So then we do step number 2, multiply our numerators. So now our numerators are 5 and 1, and that gives us 5. And 4 times 3 gives us 12. So our final answer, we don't have to simplify. 5 and 12 don't have anything in common. So 5/12 is our answer. Let's try another one of those. Let's do 5/7 times 14/15. Again, I want to check my diagonals. Do 5 and 15 have anything in common? Yes, I can divide both of these by 5. So I can say 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. My other diagonals, I have 7 and 14. Both of those are divisible by 7. So we can mark out our 7 and our 14. Our 7 becomes 1. Our 14 becomes 2. So then we multiply 1 times 2, and that gives us 2. And 1 times 3, and that gives us 3. Two and 3 don't have anything in common, so our answer is 2/3. Okay. Moving on to multiplying fractions by mixed numbers. We start out with the same rule that we had before. Our rule is that we do not need common denominators. our rule is we do not need common denominators. Okay, so I know it says 4 steps. We're going to break this down. We're going to take out steps 2 and steps 3, just to cut out some of our writing. So step 1 is to convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions. Step 1 is to convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions. And step 2 is to follow rules from above. Okay, so when we had all of those rules from up here, we're just going to follow all of those instead of writing those all out again. Okay, so let's look at an example. My example is 2 3/8 times 2/5. So the very first thing I need to do is to convert all of my mixed numbers to an improper fraction. So we multiply 2 times 8 to get 16. 16 plus 3 gives me 19/8. Bring down our other fraction. Then we follow rules from above. Okay, so check your diagonals. Do 19 and 5 have anything in common? No, but 2 and 8 do. 2 and 8 can both be divided by 2, making 2 a 1 and 8 a 4. So then we can multiply straight across. 19 times 1 gives us 19, and 4 times 5 gives us 20. We don't have anything that we can simplify between 19 and 20, so that is our answer. And that's it.